Hello everyone. In the last video, we discussed about factors of production, the story of Palampur, how Palampur was an hypothetical village, how it was been distributed, then farming in Palampur, the methods of increasing the farming, and in this video, uh, the methods we also discussed about modern farming, mixed farming, multiple cropping, all those things. And in this video, we are going to discuss about distribution of land between the farmers. Basically, what is the distribution of land between the farmers? Land is unevenly distributed, that is, equal distribution is not given. So some do not have land, some farmers do not have land, some farmers have small plot of land, some section of farmers have huge part of land. Okay, so it is unevenly distributed. To know this better, we have an example of the story of Gobind. This is an example of story of Gobind which is being given in your textbook. Gobind has 2.4 hectare of land. I have given this in a short related story, because if you needed an elaboration of the story, you can refer it from your textbook. Here basic the story. What is the story? I am just going to tell you. Here the story. In this story of Gobind, Gobind had 2.5 hectare of land. He had 3 children. After the death of Gobind, each child, after his death, each child got 0.5 hectare of land. From Gobind to his sons, the land distribution was uneven. Okay, this shows that uneven distribution of land from one generation to another. That is, Gobind had this big land. Okay, he had 3 sons. So here I have divided 1 to 5, but you can just calculate how it is. So think this is the land of Gobind. He had 3 sons, and his the division 2.5 hectare was been divided into 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it? This 1, this 2, this 3. And where his 3 children had again 3 children. Okay, so one son had 3 children. So again the land again will be divided. Got the point? Again there will be division here. Okay, so the land will be unevenly distributed from generation to generation, one generation to another generation. Gobind's generation was one generation, then the next generation will get its half, or however it has been divided, and that other generation will get less than that what it has been got. So hope you all understood what is the point. So land is unevenly distributed. So who provides the labor now? So basically the land is unevenly distributed, and for that land, who will provide the labor? Another important factor of production is labor. We all know that now. Requirements for laborers are for all. For small farmers, they need labor. For large, medium and large farmers, they need labor. Labor is very important factor, whether it is small farmer, medium or large. Here, small farmer need labor, but to avoid expenses, what do? They, along with their family, cultivate their own land. Medium and large farmers, what do? They hire the farm laborers to work on their field. That is, after these small farmers finish their work from their own land, they will go to the large or medium farm laborer as farm laborers. They work as farm laborers after working on their own land. That is extra work, you can say, part-time job you can say, to work on their field. These farm laborers come either from landless families or the families cultivating small plots of land. As I told, either there will be small farmers or the farmers who don't have land at all. Got the point? So small farmers and medium and large farmers need land, need labor, but these will get from here that is small. Here the small farmers will work, and small farmers will work themselves in their land. Hope so, all understood. This we will understand a little bit better by the situation of farm laborers, by the example of Dala and Ramkali, which is there in your textbook. Dala and Ramkali were farmers. This is a conversation between two landless farmers. Dala, no work. Large farmers hire us for limited days. Dala is telling there is no work. Large farmers are hiring us for limited days. It's difficult to fulfill our needs. Basic needs is not being fulfilled. Ramkali, she worked for only 5 months, and Ghanshyam was the zamindar who on whose field she worked. Ramkali worked on Ghanshyam's field. She worked only for 5 months, and Ghanshyam, who was large farmer, brought harvester. Harvester, what is harvester? Harvester is a machine that harvests. Instead of laborers, he brought a machine of harvester. So she had to join somewhere to make bricks. So she left the farming and she had to join somewhere to make bricks. So even the modern farming has some bad effects. Got the point? So who provides the labor? That is, small farmers themselves work on their land. Medium and large farmers hire the farm laborers who are landless families, or who families cultivating small plot of land. Hope so this is clear. Here again that Dala example is been continued here. Dala says that even to remove weeds, large farmers used weedicides and pesticides. So early days what they used to do, to pluck up the weeds, means the grasses, they used to hire the laborers to clean up the land. But nowadays they are using these pesticides and weedicides to remove them. Here we can see the negative impact of modern farming, which causes unemployment. It was because Ghanshyam took harvester, Ramkali became unemployed and she shifted from farming to brick making. Why did we read this story? This is the Ramkali story which is there in your Ramkali and Dala story which is there in your textbook. Why did we read this story? This story shows the situation of the small farmers. The capital needed in farming. So in farming we need labor. Basically in farming we need land, we need labor. So we discussed land, how it is distributed unevenly. Labor, small farmers and large farmers, how would they do? And now capital, how the capital is being needed. The capital needed in farm. Modern farming needs more capital. Modern farming is said to be capital intensive farming, that is HYV seeds, irrigation, fertilizers, pesticides and loans. So intensive capital means what? We need all these things to make a modern farming. That is, we studied in the last video that modern methods, mixed cropping, all. So in modern methods, HYV seeds are used, that is green revolution. Hope so you'll remember those. If you don't remember, please go to that video and you can come to know. Now, so modern farming is said to be capital intensive to get these things. Now the question arises, from how will the capital rise? Okay, question arises, how? This from is extra here. How will the capital arise? Small farmers, what do? They borrow money to arrange the capital. Basically, what is capital? Capital is HYV seeds, irrigation, fertilizer, pesticides, loan. So small farmers borrow money to arrange the capital for farming, either from bank or from local money lenders. Medium or large farmers have their own savings, because they have large land, they get more profit, they harvest and they sell it in the market. So have their own savings from their large farm. These savings is used for capital requirement. Okay, to understand this better, let's check out the story of Savita in the next slide. Story of Savita. Story of Savita is also there in your textbook. Story of Savita, the farmer. Savita here is a farmer. Savita was a small farmer. She had 3 kids, 1 hectare land. She wanted working capital to cultivate her land. She decided to borrow money from Tejpal. Here Tejpal was a zamindar. Zamindar was a large farmer. Tejpal was a large farmer, zamindar. She got money from Tejpal at a very high interest rate at 24%. And condition was that if in case she fails to repay him, she should work on his field and home for rupees 100 per day. So now this becomes a debt trap. Okay. Here there is a risk of debt trap. Debt trap means what? Once you fail to repay the money, you have to fulfill the conditions what they have put. That is debt trap. Here working for rupees 100 is very less. So that will be the debt trap. So Savita did not go to the government bank because government is providing so many things, but she did not go there. Why? Because farmers are usually illiterates and they avoid paperwork and time to travel to bank. Okay, that is the reason why they don't go. They find people like Tejpal and an easy way to get money for their capital. Hope so this is clear. Now, sale of surplus farm products. So once there is manufacturing, there is surplus farm products. Means now what is surplus? This is surplus. What is it? Sale of surplus farm products. What is surplus? The amount of grain left over when requirements have been met. Okay, the extra thing, the excessive production. It is the excessive production, the extra food grains which is been left out after using their own needs is fulfilled. After fulfillment of their own needs, what is left out? That is surplus. Excessive production is surplus. Let us relate this with the example of Savita and Gobind. Small farmers like Savita and Gobind. Here Savita was a small farmer who took loan from Tejpal. Gobind was the person whose family was after his death he had 3 sons and the land was being divided into 3. Okay. So hope so that you will remember these two. So small farmers like Savita and Govind have little surplus which is sufficient to their family. It is medium and large farmers who sell surplus to market. Extra is only with medium and large farmers and they sell it to the market and earn money. And example Tejpal and Ghansham. Okay, what is done with the earning gained after selling the surplus? Small farmers don't sell any surplus because they don't have surplus. Large and medium farming have surplus, they sell it and the earning what do? They use it to buy tractors, harvesters, they deposit money in the bank or give loans for small farmers like Savita. So this is what is done. So basically small farmers won't get any profit. They can fulfill their basic needs, but only the profit will be gained by medium and large farmers. Now, other than farming activities, there are non-farming activities too. What are those? Farming is the main production activity in Palampur. They also perform some activities other than farming to earn livelihood. These activities are known as non-farming activities. Questions can arise, mention the non-farming activities and even the farming methods. That is modern farming method, multiple, mixed crop, all these you have to write. So then non-farming activities are dairy, means rearing milking animal for milk products, dairy products what we say. It is okay, this is a very profitable activity. Then small scale manufacturing in Palampur. Here there is one more example in your textbook given regarding Mishri Lal. In this story, Mishri Lal was producing small scale goods at small level. They were produced mostly at home or in the field with the help of his family members. He had sugarcane farm. Mishrilal had sugarcane farm and produced jaggery also. He sold this sugarcane to the factories and he also produced jaggery and sold it to Shahpur. Shahpur, why? Because transportation connection between Palampur, Raiganj and Shahpur was very good. So as we read it in first video of this lesson. Shopkeepers of Palampur. The next is after dairy, small scale industry, shopkeepers. Shopkeeping was also a non-farming activity. Shopkeepers of Palampur, general stores, shops near bus stand, etc. And even here an example is given in your textbook about Karim. Karim was a person who opened the computer center which was necessary in the village and thus made profit. Okay. Then transportation, non-farming activities, transportation. This was the fast developing sector in Palampur because there was a good road maintained between Palampur, Raiganj and Shahpur. Watch the previous video of this chapter by clicking on the link below in the description. If you all want any explanation of the Palampur lesson, please watch the previous video also. Please like, share and subscribe.